Football, bloody hell.
But they never get
even rendering him.
Oh God. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Football, bloody hell. My bad I wasn't on last week. I was out in Glasgow singing my heart out, so yeah, good fun. Finally got my voice back. And I was proper, like, I was shit-faced last week, so it's all good. Welcome. Join us tonight is Carl Levy, who had a break last time we were on. Hope you're all recharged, Carl.
I am recharged, yeah, after having that week off. So, and it probably was a good timing as well, too, because I was out for dinner that Wednesday night. And I thought to myself, thinking, have we supposed to do a podcast? And then we realized that you were out, so, and I was out as well. I pretty much had a bad week at work last week. So, you know what? It was worth it having a break. So, yeah.
Yeah. And joining us, as always, seems to be, is Sean Guyton. How we doing, mate?
Good, thanks, pal. Struggling internet-wise. But yeah, other than that, we're not doing too badly. So apologies if I accidentally talk over anybody mid-sentence or get kicked at any point. But yeah, we're all right, mate.
No worries. I think best place to start is probably last night. The absolute fucking shit show that was in Bern last night. Just fucking... The party's not over, though. The Ronaldo party is not over.
Are you sure about that? Because it looked like he did when he was becoming the manager next to Ollie last night.
Mate, I didn't mind it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't mind it. I think if Ollie really bolled all out of the tournament, go and fucking sit down. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, the thing is, we should have had a penalty before they even got their goal in my eyes. Ronaldo should have had a penalty, if you've seen any of the highlights. But did we deserve to get beat? Yeah, we did. I think we were. I don't think we were good enough last night. But Jesse Lingard should be clearing that ball, not try to pass it back to the goalkeeper from what 20 odd
That was
yards
the
out.
best. That was the best assist ever I've seen in my life. It was the best assist
I've got
Manchester United fan.
No. This is one that you'll all love. Steven Gerrard for Demba Ba.
Oh yeah, because David Baz retired as of
That's
this week.
the best one. The best one ever. It doesn't get beat for me. There's also Gerrard for, is it Drogba? Couple of years back, good couple of years back, if anyone remembers that. But yeah, obviously comes back, scores again, like you expect him to do. It's a peach of a goal. And Wan-Bissaka just stupid challenge, and it was a red card for me. And I thought Ollie made the right changes in the first half. Brought Delo on for Sancho and brought who else to bring on? Brought on Varane for Van de Beek. I kind of agreed with I seen what he was doing, because he knew there was going to be a stampede on the goal. But yeah, it was it's a frustrating one to take.
Can I just say, realistically, do you think that first goal, that equaliser from young boys, should have been dealt better before, because that was a bit of a, when I saw the goal, it could have been dealt better by De Gea.
De Gea's been wrong-footed. Like, when you see his reactions, he's been completely wrong-footed, so I'd give all the props to young boys for it. It's a cracking work goal, and, late run into the box, got front post. De Gea's already moving. So, just what.
And that's the interesting thing. The interesting thing, David Wagner, who I didn't realise he was at the club, the former manager, has beaten you twice now. Beat Man United twice now, which is unprecedented.
Oh yeah, beat us with Huddersfield, didn't he?
Yeah,
3-1 with Huddersfield under. It was Mourinho, wasn't it?
It was Mourinho. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how he's got another job in football after his shambolic showing at Schalke.
Yeah, I know.
He was very well favoured at Huddersfield for a while, wasn't he? In that when they, I think, what were they, something like 21st, 19th,
20th, 19th.
Yeah, 19th,
yeah, they
and then
were.
up the following season. I think it was at the time as well when Klopp was starting to build a massive reputation at Liverpool, all this number 2 stuff from Dortmund and that, and then they ended up going up via probably the worst playoff final in history. But yeah, and then faltered off, and they've done nothing really since. But I never really got the attraction towards him, and then obviously the Schalke reign was abysmal, and now he's managed to get another result that's put him on the map. But
well, here's the thing, Sean. Even though when I do go back to the show this weekend, I can guarantee you he's still the talk of the town of what he's done at the club. That's the difference. The whole town still talks about him in a way. Yeah, exactly.
He'll always be a folk hero, won't he?
Yeah, he's always going to be a folk hero, no matter what. Yeah. So, but you're right. It was the worst playoff final ever between 2 teams, and where Huddersfield at the moment. Where Huddersfield at the moment, they've done decently than I thought they would be, because I really thought, they have been in the top half since the start of the season, which is very un-Huddersfield like for a while. Yeah. So,
I mean, on the Man United one, I know it's everywhere, Lingard and whatnot, but I've actually not bothered clicking on it to watch it yet. The only thing that I've seen of Lingard is a certain controversial bookmaker has decided that he would pay out last night on Jesse Lingard to assist at any time. On the goal, so yeah, which is how they made their name anyway. Years and years and years ago, when Ireland had an absolute abysmal result, and he paid out on Ireland to win, even though they lost. And that was where it came from. But yeah, he's paid out on Jesse Lingard to assist any time, which I think just highlights. Even though, like I say, I've not seen it can't offer much, but it's a shocker. It's a shocker when something like that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's a howler. It's an absolute howler. Doesn't need to happen as well. The time of the game it is, it doesn't need to do it.
And especially with the last 30 seconds as well, you lot would take the draw because how your boys were pressing against you. You would have taken the draw.
They were unbelievable.
If you cleared the ball away.
Young boys were unbelievable last night.
Yeah. They're that bogey team. You don't want to play because they got a really good crowd behind them as well.
They done it to Juve 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So some teams they play for the Champions League. Most notably, teams in the country where we are now. You have your league, but ultimately your creme de la creme is your Champions League. So you're planning for them games so much. You get a crowd behind you. They're not easy places to go, and I think that really and truly, if you'd have given United a point before the game, I think you take it. I think it's you get out of there, without losing. You're going to get them back at Old Trafford. It's going to be a completely different game. But like these teams, similar to Celtic and Rangers and whatnot, when it's Champions League football, it's all based around that. It's based around getting something out of your home games, and I think to be 1-1. I mean, out of that, I don't. It wouldn't have been a bad result by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you've got to play the team and the crowd.
Yeah, their crowd was unbelievable last night. I was really, really impressed with them. And even before they scored, I said to my dad, I'd came in from, where was I? I think I came in for work last night, and I was like, "What's the score?" And he was like, Wan-Bissaka's been sent off. I went, I'll take a draw now. My dad's looking at me, what? I was like, I'll take a draw now because this is their Champions League final, playing Man United. You know what I mean? Everyone ups their game, as you do. We've seen Celtic do it so many times. Rangers do it. So it is what it is. It's one of those freak results that happens. Just got to take it on the chin. It's just more fuel for these idiots on Twitter that fucking hate Ollie.
Listen, I have to admit, Ollie chose the right players, and I agree he chose the right players. I didn't see it was a bad squad. It was actually a really, really good squad, and he made the right changes at the right time. It was just unfortunate that moment happened. But Ollie had a game plan, and I knew what he was trying to do. So I would criticize him in a way. Yeah, you're trying to see the draw because you go into a place like Young Boys, and they are really, like I said, the crowd a very good atmosphere on European nights. It was their final. You're right, But like I said, Ollie knew he had to play for a draw. When you go to those grounds, you do have to play out for a draw because they're not easy.
No, they're not. But you know what? Roll on to the weekend. Total new game at the weekend. But gonna move on to you guys, Carl. The Liverpool game. I'm gonna put it out there, right? Before fucking anyone decides to fucking comment. That wasn't a sending off. It wasn't even a fucking foul. Even Harvey Elliott said that.
I know. I was at work today. So we had Sky Sports News on, and I saw Elliott's comment, and fair play to him. He said, "Don't wait, just keep your chin. It was not your fault." And he told Pascal Stroy. But you know what? The one person I like to be the waste man of this week on this show is that the LFC Sonny. You saw that video. I put that shade.
Oh yeah,
saying
that fucking
Stroy should be that fucking clown, all right. Because I was so pissed off. And you know what? He's still we convinced the next thing he got out of bed. He's still convinced it was a sending off. And then he criticized Bielsa. He criticized the whole club. What a fucking joke! You know, he just wasted his time to try to make it clear when no one's is going to agree with him, and that's even Liverpool fans.
Yeah, it's just typical overreaction. It's kind of like there's a United fan you'll have seen on Twitter, Carl, that fucking idiot, Johnny FX or whatever his name is.
I think I've heard of him. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, fucking hell.
He's just a fucking clown. I mean, that company's worse than fucking Goldbridge, and that's saying everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not a surprise.
I mean, I'm blocked off Goldbridge and the United stand.
Really?
Yeah, I'm blocked off both of them on Twitter. I think I called Goldbridge a nonce, and that was a jokingly comment. I shouldn't have called him a nonce, but he's a fucking idiot. And the United stand thing, it's probably because I've got like friends at Paddock. Probably because I'm like friendly with a couple of people at Stretford Paddock, but you know, that lad was worse than fucking Goldbridge when Fred does anything wrong.
Oh jeez. Yeah. There you go with that one.
It's a difficult one with I think like whenever, you know, I saw an image today, unrelated, but their ministry are saying, and everybody's got a phone, and the caption was not a phone in sight, obviously, for the ironic banter to it. And somebody had replied and just said, well, actually, if it couldn't happen in the 90s because people didn't have the capability. But if they did, they sure as hell probably would have. And I think that when you look at social media and football, social media gives idiots a voice. Yeah. And you can, you know, one tweet can change your whole life. One tweet can do a lot of things. But people, you know, these football influencers or whatever that they want to be called, or even anybody that goes viral for sharing their opinion, it's clear that some of them have never actually set foot on a football pitch or played the game. Because I think anybody could see on Sunday that, you know, it's a coming together. You know, they're tracking back for the ball. Breaking your leg in football, it's an occupational hazard. It's the same way that if I'm working on a computer at work, anything could go wrong with that. If you're in hard labour and you're working on a machine, the machine could blow. You might lose a finger or something if you're working in construction. You're playing football, you're using your legs, you're going in for tackles. It's likely you're going to pick up an injury at some point, or you're going to hurt the next day. It's one of them things that it's happened, and fortunately, it's had probably the best ending it could for Elliott, because as his leg was obviously out of place when the physio got on, it looked as though it was only dislocated and it had gone back in. But what I couldn't get my head around was Sky Sports seemed to want to confirm the fact that it was always going to be a sending off. But I can't understand, how is it always going to be a sending off when he didn't even blow for the foul?
I know.
Sky Sports
that's what
confirmed that. It just baffles me, because he said, you know, we confirmed it was always going to be, you know, referee Craig Pawson was always going to send him off. Well, how? If he hasn't blown for the foul, then he can't send him off. Do you know? And that was just what rolled me a little bit, that there didn't seem to be much backbone there from the start. And I think that, if you're sending players off for reaction and for injury, then we're going down a dangerous line.
You're right with that one. What you said there, Shaw, because as I said, I was not surprised in a way. Surprised but not surprised how the FA decided, well, it's still the law, he sent it off, he's going to be banned for the next 3 games. But it doesn't get, but everyone knew it was not foul. Why is it claim? Why did that call claim dangerous? I didn't get that one. Somehow the Son red card 2 years ago get rescinded after that similar tackle that happened with him when he did it to Andre Gomez, and he didn't mean to. And then Andre, it's the same thing again. But this time it's because Tottenham's not a big club, but they are. But somehow because of us as well, we get treated differently. For what? It's the same scenario there, but you're treating one club and say, oh no, we'll let him rescind that, but we're not letting him get him rescinded, for that mistake. So I think this needs to be some changes really to that officiating. What is classed as a dangerous tackle again? Because this clarification is not even helped no one, because that was never a dangerous tackle, and they should not give even though one or the other, Craig Parsons should have known better. Not blow the whistle. He could have either the Liverpool players could have either, or one of us could, or us could have kicked the ball out because it was a serious injury. But when he stopped it, he didn't even have time to think about the decision. He didn't have time to think about the decision properly. I think that's what annoys me a little bit with that one. Even though the result was we already lost, we already were losing. We were going to lose the game anyway. But you know what? It puts a downer because we don't have much defense cover for this weekend against Newcastle.
I think it's a difficult one because there's a lot of things that piss me off in football. Probably the amount of things that piss me off in football, you'd think you wouldn't bother with it. But one thing that annoys me in football is like the handball rule, for example. If you're anywhere on the football field other than the area, you've seen players do it time and time again, where a player might nick it over the head and they just stick their hand up. Referee blows for a foul, maybe throws a yellow card in. You can do exactly the same thing inside the penalty area, but it's deemed that you're gaining an advantage, so you're sent off for it in most cases. But you're gaining the same advantage if you stop that ball from going over your head, and you've done exactly the same thing. You've used a part of your body that you're not allowed to use. And I think that the inconsistencies that happen, I think we saw it last season with VAR with offsides, where shoelaces were getting drawn lines on for offsides. But like these rules, they seem to bend and twist to suit the current time in football, which I get that, you have to move forward with the rules now we've got VAR. But the handball rule, how a handball rule can change is beyond me, considering you've never been allowed to use your hands in the game. And it just seems that when we're looking at these fouls, especially fouls from behind, when we were all kids, a foul from behind, it was labelled a professional foul and you were off.
Yeah.
There's now you've got to look at malice. Now you've got to look at intent. Now you can win the ball now and still get sent off because there's intent. It's I don't know if Randy's muted or my internet's playing up.
No, I 100% agree with that. And Andrew, I don't know if you're on mute or something because we can't hear you. So nope.
You see me now?
Yes.
You see me all right as well?
Yes.
That's it. We're good. We're in business.
It's like I watched the Burnley Everton game. Fucking ace, Matt. That was a fucking mint game. But Tarkowski should have been sent off for the challenge on Richarlison. He just, I swear to God, he basically flung him up in the air. If anyone's seen that challenge, that's
I've
what you call. Carl, I don't know if you've seen it, but that was just a joke of a challenge for me.
No, I didn't see it, but when I heard from on social media about it, it was a bit surprising that he set off the way he went into Richarlison, because it baffles me how officiating can be different for certain games where you can think it's a red card and the other one isn't. But Tarkowski should have been either looked at that carefully on VAR and actually should have been red carded hands on, because you can't do that. You can't do that. And,
he went to do him.
And I think And we know that. We know how Burnley physically play, and this is why I think the officials are not really looking up carefully how Burnley are going to play with the rugby style, whatever, what people are saying. But
see, if I was to compare it to a challenge, did anyone see? Everyone remembers Porteous taking out Barisic 2 years ago. Remember he got sent off for it because he fucking done him. It was the exact same challenge. Sort of like that. And Porteous went to do him. I was there. Like, I was basically right in front of it, and I was like, he's off. He's won the ball, but he's off. Like, he's fucking done him. You know what I mean? And that's why the likes of Roy Keane, Neil Lennon, Vieira, even Gerrard wouldn't last in today's game because he loved a tackle.
It's strange how the game's changed in the past sort of 10 years. Because when I was going to football as a lad and that, I remember my dad would tell me about shout to put him in the stand, and you'd hear like Chopper Harris or somebody that used to put someone in the stand. But it wasn't as bad when we were kids. Like, it wasn't as bad anywhere near like it is now. The game, it's completely different now in every way, shape, and form. It's just it's a different ball game.
Even even when I was playing at fucking 20s, this wasn't even fucking proper professional. This was Sunday League, and that was my job on the field to fucking go through folk.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You hear it every time. Let them know you're there in the first few minutes, and win your first battle and do it again, and he won't come back. It's all typical shapes that eventually they're going to be eradicated out the game, because any tackle that you do put in can be reviewed, and then nothing's clear and obvious errors aren't clear and obvious errors anymore. They're things that are looked at from different angles. You saw it. I can't remember there was a tackle last season. I can't remember who it was now, but it was worse from one angle than it was from the other.
Yeah, they're going on angles and slow it down and all that.
Yeah, but then that changes the decision, because then it's about perception. It's not about what's actually happened in that real time. Yeah, and then it's different. But just a slightly different note on traditional football. I heard this one the other day that Burnley were the first team for something like 20 years this season to line out with a 1-11.
Yeah,
shirt numbers. I never knew that. I didn't see that. Craziness, but I suppose numbers now. You've got, like Deeney up front for Blues. I think he's gone 36 because of the 6 and 3 is 9, and there's someone else who's got. If they add up all their 3 children's birthdays and divide it by 9, it comes to something ridiculous. There's some story behind that as well. But squad numbers are evolving, aren't they? It's not just a number anymore.
No, exactly.
No, I get it. It's just, I just think football's a contact sport. And that's what, but I don't mind a hard challenge in a game. I don't, because some of my favourite players are like Roy Keane, Marvin Bartley. I love Barry Ferguson. I thought he was a hell of a player. He loved a fucking scrap.
Yeah.
I just think it's going away from, Calvin Phillips. Is he really your traditional holding man? I think he's more a deep line playmaker.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
That's still questioning with that one. Yeah,
he's like a Michael Carrick type instead of like Lee Bowyer. If I was to, if you're going on that. But what did you think of the game, Carl? Losing 3-0.
Disappointed. We've had issues in the midfield area from the start of the season now. We're just leaving so much space for opposition to use. And I think Rodrigo's not being suited enough. He's supposed to be this long-term replacement for Pablo Hernandez, in that attacking midfield role, in that 4 midfield attack. It's not working well. It's not working well. And I think Bielsa, I'm not saying Bielsa's got a lot of time, but he does not need to make the tweaks now, because I think Rodrigo's not suited to that role. I think we kind of legged it a bit of not getting Luis O'Brien from Huddersfield, because I think he would have been another replacement. And I think because of the valuation, we did not want to meet Huddersfield Town £8 to £10 million. We were trying to get for $4 million. It just questions a little bit why we're just
10 million for a player who plays bottom half of the Championship.
Well, he's come through the academy and he's been one of their best. He was the player of the season the last 2 years running. So you can see why Huddersfield didn't want to sell him for peanuts. And he's playing quite well as well since Town have now fought in fourth place now in the championship. You know, you can see why. Yeah, right, exactly. Because Kaz come out and see what he's seen. But I think we have been struggling in midfield. I think we're just unsure.
He's haven't got goal at all.
No, I know, and this is the thing we haven't. This is a lot more worse than last season. Even though we won a few games after we lost 4-3 to Liverpool, this season is a lot more worse than last season. Because last season it was a little bit better because we did get off. We were slow, but we started okay. So for me, I'm a bit disappointed how we are at the moment. And I think this on Friday. It's a must-win game against Newcastle, and we'll talk more about that on the typical Levy Horn podcast tomorrow with yourself and Reagan. Because our predictions, this is a must-win game for Leeds because they cannot have this another slow start and they can't win games now. Yes, lose to Manchester United 5-1. I think
you're always going to get battered against United, though.
I hate to admit it, but I do agree. For now, until we get better, we'll get to your level in the next few years. But to quite honestly now, I think Bielsa, is not, with Bielsa, he sticks with the same formation and all that stuff. But he does need to maybe change the formation a little bit because we're not playing what we want at the moment. And I think with Struijk as well now suspended, Llorente is going to is probably coming back. But
that was disappointing.
That with his injury. At the moment, we're so light at the moment that centre back as well as the midfield. We just struggle at the moment to try to defend, and I think this is what we need to be better. We still struggle on the attacking set pieces, on the defense set pieces. That has been our Achilles heel for the last few years on the Bielsa. So at some point now, this game against Newcastle Friday is going to be most important.
It's a relegation battle, isn't it?
I wouldn't say too early relegation battle, but
call yourself Arsenal.
Well, I wouldn't call it relegation battles yet, but if we don't win against Newcastle, I think we do need to question ourselves, and we are going to be in a relegation battle. But I'm cautious optimistic we can try to kick on sooner rather than later, because if it gets really late, then there's questions with that one.
Yeah. Sean made a hell of a shout a fortnight ago saying he thinks Leeds will go down.
I don't know whether Carl's watched it yet, and I don't know whether he'll ever speak to me again if he does.
You fucking called it. But the thing is, I remember...
Nah, I mean, there's a very long way to go. Go. Watch it, Carl, and get to me.
The thing is, right? Last year, mine and Carl's mate Andrew predicted Sheffield United would do the exact same thing, and he was fucking spot on. He went, they'll go down bottom. And I was just like, fuck off. They finished fucking 7th last season. I just thought that's what highlighted that comment. I thought, right, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this shit, because the more and more the season went on, I remembered what Andrew had said, and I was like, oh no, don't let Sheffield United go down, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And we've swapped, it's one hell I want to watch, and it's Sean, did you say 2 weeks ago the bookies are either way on it?
Yeah, it wasn't an overly it wasn't. I was quite surprised that it was. I can't remember what it was. I haven't checked it, but it wasn't a very enticing price to want to back it. Where I would have thought that it would have been. After the season that Leeds had, the Alpha effect in there and everything else, and the feel good factor there, and fans coming back. I just think that as a side, they're not going to be the first name on people's lips to go down. When you've got Watford and Norwich there as well, so there's 2 places you would imagine will get filled fairly quickly. So scrapping for that other place, it wasn't anywhere near the kind of price where a tenner to watch it over the season becomes a worthwhile tenner. It wasn't anything like 20s or 30 to 1 or something like that. But then because it was shorter than that, it did have me thinking that maybe I wasn't the only one keeping half an eye on that. But I think that what I did say 2 weeks ago was that it wasn't necessarily a shout for me to say, look at me calling this in, early September.
Yeah.
Replay it in May, and I've made a hell of a shout. And I was a bit sort of contradictory with the way that I said it, but my general feeling was when I've watched Leeds was that there's something missing. at the moment, and for not being a Leeds fan or not knowing the ins and outs of tactics or starting the lineups, just watching it, there just seems like there's something that they could really struggle, and a bad start could be very difficult to recover from. But one thing that I will stick my neck on the line and say is that Bielsa won't see this full season out. Whether it's a sacking, a resignation, I honestly cannot see him being there come the end of this season. I just cannot see it, and that's the one thing that I will say. And I watched them on Sunday, and I don't think you can take anything away from Liverpool on Sunday. I think Liverpool were absolutely superb. They were like fucking oil to a man. That they were brilliant. I mean, for an individual player to have 10 plus shots on target before he got a goal, it says something. And I'm not saying, and I don't necessarily think that's because Leeds were bad, but I just think that Leeds could potentially limp to January and then it'll all come good. But there's a lot of pressure that builds coming up to January, especially if you're down there. And I was just looking at it on Sunday, and I'm maybe thinking that my comments of a couple of weeks ago was maybe the answer I was looking for was maybe that Leeds won't go down, but it's in fact that Bielsa won't be there. And I think that's where I'm more swaying to now, is that it's going to be the fact that I can't see Bielsa seeing out the season, to be quite honest.
Don't break his heart.
You know, it's bold and it's brave, but it's bold and it's brave. And I did say the other week as well, I wasn't necessarily saying it to say, "Oh, look at me," but I am on this one.
I know that. I know.
Listen, I am on this one. I would. You know, and it can get clipped at the end of the season if Bielsa doesn't. But on this one, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I don't think, based on Sunday, you know, you can't change much on Sunday when you're playing against that. It becomes damage limitation extremely quickly. They were superb, but Friday night is going to be certainly one that I'll be sitting down watching with a keen eye, because I think you know, it's going to be one of the two. Whoever loses it is going to panic big time.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
But football for you.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I agree with some parts. I disagree about if Bielsa is going to be the one who will walk away or would the club do it. It's a tough one, and I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And I think the problem was at the start of the season, and you guys didn't know about this. I got told by one of my colleagues from Sky Bet by Fangio when he was here last week. He told me that the reason why we didn't start Calvin Phillips, and this is what I found out, and this won't surprise me because I didn't even know about this, and this was confirmed. Calvin Phillips came back £2 over
I heard that.
What you see? Yeah.
I heard about it.
And that was true. And the reason why what I read in Athletic, he was not Bielsa fit, and I felt that's just right. He was £2 overweight, and which surprised me because he played it over during the Euros. And I don't know if that decision really has affected us in a way, because you know Calvin is our quarterback of that squad. Of that 11. And I think that's what's maybe affects these, because when you play like Robin Koch, who has not been brilliant, to quite honest, I'm going to admit he's got a lot to prove.
He's been average.
He's been average, yeah. So there's a lot of questions now of why can we not find a similar speciality like Calvin Phillips in our squad? We may have one or two players coming from the youth academy who are in the similar ranks, but they're not even playing enough games that they're thinking, are they ready for the Premier League? And Kenneth, who's doing quite well in the under 18 and under 23, I don't think he's ready at the moment yet. But there is questions now. What do we do from here if Bielsa does at some point walk away? Because I don't know if we have a plan of who do we bring in. That is another question I'm kind of worried about at the moment.
And that's the thing as well. I think that it's been an unbelievable tenure, and you know, last season was great, but you just wonder. I mean, he doesn't give much away, so I think that, you know, when you're sitting there and you're watching Leeds game, and you know he's sat on his stool or his bucket, and you're sort of looking at him. Even when you're winning, he doesn't give much away. But I think for me,
well, over the night, he's a shy man. He doesn't like being cameras, but she's not that pro. But I do understand where you're coming from, because I have to say I said after the first game, he can't sugarcoat it after what's happened. He knows that he can't cover the cracks, and if something needs to change, especially when we play big teams, we need to be better playing defense, either defensively or counter attacking, because we can't play its open attacking style, and then we lose like 5-1 to United the first game, and now 3-0 to Liverpool, and we should be better than that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he seems like he's quite a hard taskmaster in a good way. That, like, you know, it's like you're saying about Calvin Phillips. He's not come back at a weight he wants. He didn't play. And I think that this is the thing where frustration will set in. He doesn't get enough out of his players. And I don't think it'll be, you know, I'm not saying in terms of if he doesn't get what he wants, he'll throw his toys out the pram and say, I'm off. I think every avenue will be exhausted before it was to get there. But I just don't know what I said this the other week as well, like, when I'm looking at Leeds at the moment, I'm just not sure. I don't get amazing feelings from watching them, but one win can change the whole perception and persona around a football team. And if that win comes in a massive game on Friday, then
I really hope it's going to be Friday, mate, because I can't last this. Because I made about 20 shows this Saturday for my mom's 60th. The last thing I know about is driving home miserable when Leeds loses to Newcastle.
That's it, right. That's
Do you
it.
know something? To fucking bring a light on it, you know I said about Bielsa fit, right? I've read, you both know who Paddy Kenny is. He's a fucking hero, right?
Yeah.
I think when he was going to sign for Leeds, I think it was, right? Warnock's phoned him, right? And you know how he's a bit of a lump? Well, was when he was playing, he was like, you know, Warnock's phone and went, "Are you fit, son?" He went, "I'm Paddy fit."
I do remember that. I do remember that quote. Yeah, I remember that story.
He's a hero, man. Like,
I've seen a couple of good, very good podcasts with him.
Under the Cosh is his
Under
Under the Cosh.
Under the Cosh one's good.
Literally made me buy his book, and I've read right through it. I pissed myself laughing through it because he's so funny.
Yeah, very good sense of humour as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've just seen a far worse challenge than the one at the weekend, by the way, in a similar area of the pitch that just went unnoticed with a free kick and a yellow card. On a side note, that's a terrible challenge.
Christ. Jeez. It's like I think when he was trying to leave Leeds, he told I think it was chief executive went, "Oh, so I'm training the kids, but you know what? When I get back, I'm going to kick your fucking head, and then you can sack me."
Yeah,
he wasn't being allowed to leave.
I think it was
it was Sheffield United. He was trying to leave Sheffield United to go to Leeds or something. Sheffield United.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was because Paddy Kenny was. I don't think he went to other clubs after Sheffield. I think he came to us straight after when we did so. Yeah, so to be quite honest with you, because we did sell Kasper Schmeichel and all that stuff, and I think I do remember. Yeah, so somehow we sold him, even though he had a very good. He was good in the goal, but he had a very poor goal ratio, or whatever. And we replaced with Paddy Kenny, which was a bit surprising. I'm like, but I do remember the end. Yeah, but I do remember the out where he had it at Sheffield United. I think it did happen something like with the CEO, who's now don't even own the club no more. So I think it was Kevin McCabe. I think so.
It doesn't mention the name in the interview. I can't mind if he says the name in the book, but fucking hell, like. I know I love going off on tangents, but see when you said something fit, I just think him in this interview sitting drinking a beer, like, "Oh, but I'm Paddy fit," and I'm like, "Oh God!" Like to me, that's like your typical Sunday League player saying that I'm Paddy fit. You know what I mean? I'm there or thereabout.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on for Leeds. I think there's only one way to go. Got a proper cheer Sean up here because the Blues are fucking flying, mate.
Well, we are indeed. We're currently 1-0 down, but we'll get on to that. So
who you playing tonight?
We've got Fulham tonight, but it's fine. It's fine because we've managed to make tonight in my world a free hit from a good home win on Friday evening. And I think we've done two good things this season. And we've made Bournemouth and Fulham at home two of probably the hardest games we'll have this season at home. Obviously, you know, at the moment, at the start especially. we've took a lot of pressure off them 2 games. Friday night is typically a game that we lose. We're playing a
Derby
team
County,
that they're not.
wasn't it? Was it Derby?
Yeah, Derby at home. They're not in great form.
Which I spoke to
you know,
Reagan about on Monday
Yeah.
because he was
Usually, a couple of seasons gone by, if teams wanted if teams needed 3 points, they seem to come to St Andrews and we'd happily help them to it. If we run a good run of form or somebody came, especially in a bad run of form, 9 times out of 10 they'd turn us over. So I did have that in the back of my mind. But again, we just look like we're such a solid unit, and there's a lot of props this season going to Chong, but I think that Ryan Woods next to him has been absolutely, he's been superb as well. We've got Maxime Collin and Pedersen, either wing back sides.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I think I saw the one, nobody's made more interceptions in the Championship this season so far than Pedersen. He's won more tackles in his position. It's brilliant. And I think that when you see us, I don't understand Wayne Rooney's comments. It's fucking plum. And he says that he didn't think that we did enough to win the game. I mean, look,
Just scored.
the whole game was based around Troy Deeney, and
Yeah.
Bowyer did an amazing thing. It's very basic, but he did. It's amazing. He took a lot of pressure off him, put him on the bench, gives him 15 minutes, and I felt like Derby, their shape sort of shifted a little bit towards him.
Yeah.
And I don't really blame them for that. Like we've got more fans in than we have all season because the stands are
Did that
half
third
open.
stand open?
Third stand
I
open, so the Tilton's open, Railway's open, the main stand's open. So I think it's something like about 15,000 that we can get in at the moment, which is good. And it's a good victory. Bellas took his goal really well. Hogan's pounced on a mistake, which it's a goal that he desperately needed. And it's just a good night all round. It's adding to the extended good start. And like I say, we've got Fulham at home tonight, but you've sort of made it a free hit because we've already played them at home in the cup, 2 very different sides to what have started tonight for either side. But you make it a free hit in the sense where if you do lose it, you've picked up
You're
your 3
expected to
points
lose it.
already. You think, that these are games that they're supposed to come to places and win. I've seen Blues get promoted out of this division. Carl, you've seen it with Leeds. You're supposed to go to these places on a Tuesday night and win if you want to win the league.
Yeah, exactly.
So they are expected to come here tonight. Opening 10-15. I mean, to be fair, as a game, it's actually been good. It's been pretty end to end. They've scored from a corner, which is annoying. That always pisses me off. But we've made a very good save just before it, and we've done well. We've really put pressure on them, and I think that based on the squad that we've got now, if this is what we can do, I think tonight tells us a lot about potentially what we could do. But for me, it still comes down to what I said the first ever time I was on. Squad size wise, this is where we'll struggle because we'll be competitive tonight, as we have been. But I think if we were to nick a point tonight, I think it's an absolutely superb result. And we have played. It's been a decent first half, really has been. But yeah, Deeney on the bench again. So at least you're looking at that. You've got a bit of firepower to come on. Another home game. So hopefully, he's going to get his first goal at St Andrews. But yeah, it's good. He's good at the moment. I think that a couple of additions in January, and Bowyer said it in his interview the other day, like the team can go as far as this team wants to go. And I think when a manager's got that much confidence in his team,
yeah,
especially in this division, it's superb. So, like I say, I think I said it to you on Friday night, Andy. It's a penalty. We just did a penalty. Penalty to Fulham. Poor. It's right on the stroke at half time. It's a really poor. It's really.
Has your keeper not got a good percentage for saving penalties?
No,
it's
well, actually no, because Etheridge hasn't got back in the side since we signed Sarkic. Sarkic just kept him out, and you know what? He's been very good. He's been good this season.
Seen him so much.
I think he's the young lad Luckman that plays for. I think it's Luckman. It's a fantastic turn on the edge of the area, and he's took the ball in, and it's clumsy feet. It's a daft challenge. It's a really daft challenge, right in the stroke at half time. But look, as I say, it won't be too disappointing if we lose it. We've done a lot of work to make a game against probably the most challenging side in the league. So Yeah, 2-0 Mitrovic. Good. It's a good penalty as well. You don't right in the corner. But just a
He's a
picture
bag.
obviously to concede it right on the stroke at half time. But he's such a massive player. He's such a handful up there.
But
Yeah.
he's more. I think he's more better suited. He's more better suited in the Championship than he is in the Premier League. That's the problem.
He ain't a Premiership player, man.
No, that's what I've said. He's not a Premiership. He's more better in the Championship player than he's more of a Championship player than the Premiership player because he just struggles to confidence in front when he's playing when he's playing a 38 match season. But when you play 46 games, he's unstoppable in the Championship. So
he's a bagsman in the Championship, isn't he? He's a bit like Pookie. Pookie's a bagsman in the Championship, goes up to the Prem and just goes, "Can I date here?" It's not even a slant on either of those players because those two players are fucking cracking players. I mean, I remember Pookie when he signed for Celtic under Dyla, and you're just going, "Who the fuck's this?" And he just wasn't ready. He's just too much too soon for him. Went back to, I think was it Brøndby or Malmo or something. Scored tons of goals there and got his Norwich move.
It wasn't Luckman. Sorry, it was Surrey. I couldn't make out who it was. It was Surrey with his turn, but he's a fantastic turn, by the way.
That Luckman's at Leicester.
That's it. Because I looked at it there because he had a terrible penalty last season, didn't he? When he was at Fulham.
Kayanka against West Ham.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, very similar builds. As I've just glanced up there, I thought it was him, but as I say, it's not. I've just double checked it. But like I say, superb turn really. It's done everything it needed to do. He's created a penalty from absolutely nothing. But I think it's a good test for us tonight as well with a striker like you say. In the Championship, Mitrovic, he can score from anywhere, and he causes so many problems. He's such a handful for defenders. He's such a lump. And he's so agile considering he's so big.
Yeah, I don't think he's been the same. Like Goran Mitrovic, right? I don't think he's been the same since the Scotland-Serbia game. He was fucking shit that night. But who was the centre? Who was the centre backs that night? Declan Gallagher.
It was Declan Gallagher
and Kieran Tierney.
I
swear to God, Gallagher fucking finished him.
But you can tell
finished him because he tried to get physical with Gallagher. Right, Gallagher just pushed him and was just like, "Mate."
I do remember that one.
You know what I mean? He was shite, and they only scored when Rebic. Was it Rebic?
Yeah, it was Rebic. Yeah, because the only
Jovic.
thing is
Jovic.
Oh. Yeah, it's a weird one because you can tell from his body language that full 120 minutes he was not right, and I think he wasn't there. And I have to say, Declan Gallagher just bullied him. I'm like, how can you let someone like Scotland bully you when you're supposed to be the crazy one in that team? But yeah, it surprised me with that one, and yeah, he's not been the same since. And I think Big
Gallagher's, you didn't fuck with him, man, honestly.
I know you don't. You don't fuck with Gallagher.
Like, if you've seen his criminal records, you don't fuck with him, man. Somebody fucked about with his pregnant missus, tried to do something, I don't know the full story, and he battered fuck at them.
Wow.
As all of us would, if anyone was balling our other halves, but he took it to another level, seemingly. He can't even get in the Aberdeen team now. Which is
that's a bit surprising, yeah.
We'll come on to the SPL anyway. We're better to start than one of the I thought it was one of the best Edinburgh derbies I've watched for it being 0-0. It was unbelievable. I thought the quality was brilliant. I thought it was everything I expected. We just needed a goal. But both our keepers were just unbelievable.
Do you know what? This was the best game I watched. It was the best game I watched through when I was working on a Sunday as well, to be honest with you. And I thought to myself, you know what, that was a better game than the Leeds Liverpool one. But when I was watching it, I thought both teams had really good chances. And I think, like I said, both our goalkeepers are so great. And I think we tested ourselves to see who can actually hold on for both, for either. But I think it was what disappointed for both our teams is we didn't even go above Rangers, which was a good opportunity.
It did as well. I just wanted to keep Rangers or Celtic away for that top spot. Obviously, Celtic couldn't get because of the loss against Rangers before the international break. So you're sitting thinking, right, I shouldn't be saying this as a fucking Hibs fan, right? But fucking somebody stop them. somebody's got to stop them, whether it be Celtic, Hibs, Hearts. It's not going to be Aberdeen because the fucking honeymoon period's over for that tip glass up there. It's over. And it said that when Tony Watt went like that to Scott Brown, which is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And I love Tony Watt. Not as a
He had
player,
a bit of a pop at him on the first goal as well, didn't he?
It was. I just think Tony Watt's a cracking player, man. As well, it gave me one of the best nights of my life, and I'm a Hibs fan, and I was at Celtic that night.
No,
and I've never felt like business at Hibs for winning the Scottish Cup, but see the euphoria in that stadium that night. Nothing like it ever. But no, Edinburgh Derby was unbelievable. I thought the goalies were quality. There's proper challenges in the game.
There were.
That Beningame really impressed me.
He's getting better and better.
Player, man. And he's getting laughed at. He's getting laughed at from Hibs fans, which they can fuck off with, right? And fucking suck my dick in the comments. I think he's a fucking player. I watched him at Derby last season. He was a player. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Boyle left on his arse, and that was brilliant. At the end of the first half there.
Yeah.
Left him on his arse. But, you know, that's a better point for Hearts than it is for Hibs, by the way.
I agree. Yeah,
no,
I think Hibs could have...
No. It's a better point for Hibs than it was for Hearts because we had so many players out.
We did, actually. A lot, yeah.
Jamie Murphy, the sick note, which is a pity because he's a fucking good player. Who else is out? Jake Doyle Hayes is out. Fuck, where's my fucking head went? We had players out, you know what I mean? And we changed our formation. And I think it was to actually suit your formation.
Because we played a 3-4-3. Yeah, 3-4-3. Yeah, so...
I thought Jack Ross made the right decision bringing Gogic on because you started winning the midfield battle, right? But I thought he took off the wrong man. I think he should have took Nisbet off because he was fucking anonymous anyway. He's never going to get a big move, right, if he doesn't turn up in these games. It's why the likes of Cummins got to move. It's why the Nonce got to move. If anyone's wondering who the Nonce is, it's Griffiths.
Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. Yeah.
That's why Riordan got his move. You know, O'Connor got his move. You know, turning up in these games for Hibs is everything. I mean, Cummins literally just scored in big games. You know what I mean? Love to go against Hearts, Rangers. He didn't play Celtic for Hibs, I know that much. Always scoring against Aberdeen, scoring against Dundee United, you know. And I don't think he's going to get a big move. I really don't think he's going to get a big move. I think he's going to be, you know, at Hibs. Oh, Doidge was the other player we're missing.
That was a huge one because,
I think Doidge would have been a big difference there. I think we could have played Boyle and Nisbet off Doidge in a 3. But no, I'll take a draw all day long at Tynecastle. It extends the unbeaten run at Tynecastle as well.
Yeah, so, you got still unbeaten. Yeah, okay, yeah, for jail. Forgot about that. Yeah.
I think that's no losses in the last 2 years. Yeah. Which you take all day as a Hibs fan because we've got the worst derby record in the history of football.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Hearts looked pretty good. Hearts looked really good. I thought Woodman looked dangerous. I think the difference this game was the Hibs keeper. Gary Mackay-Stevens had those 2 chances. I don't know how Macy's got to Isler Ball. I still don't know.
No, I don't as well too, which is very surprising because I thought that looked like it was going to go in. It was like, he should have gone in.
See when he's done that 1-2 with Mackay-Stevens, not Mackay-Stevens, Woodburn, and he's went through and I thought, oh great, here we go. Mackay-Stevens once again buries Hibs and Macy's somehow got his hand out. I was like, thank fuck, we've got a good keeper. Like, if that's Marciano, that's 1-0, I'm going to be honest. But I think you'll easily challenge for top 3, top 4. I did say way back at the start, if you've got numbers in, you could do it. And you've still got Janelle to get fit. Who's your backup striker if Boyce gets injured, by the way?
That is a good question because
Is it
I
that
think
Nodley?
Nodley is
David-
one of our backups. I do know about that, so it would be Nodley, and also I'm just trying to look on Gandhi as well. Just see, we only got at least 2-3 strikers, so pretty much, if someone has to play that up front, the problem is it might have to be Mackay Stephen or Woodburn because they're the
Woodburn's
only
played
ones
it before. I know that much.
yeah. So I would say, I probably would say at least Mackay Stephen is more they have to be the second, third choice because we don't have much legs
Yeah.
up front. But at the moment, I think we're okay for now, injury wise, and
Can always put Peter.
wise.
Can always go full Craig Levine and put Peter Harron as a centre forward like he's done before.
We have done that, and
Mate.
so.
But who knows?
I think Peter Harriott is becoming a lot more better now. I think he is getting a lot more trust now. After what it looks a lot better now. It looks a lot more fitter. I think Nielsen just didn't trust him for some obvious reason when we talked about it over the last couple of months ago. But I think he's now getting in his favour, and we're seeing John Sutter.
I like him, man.
Hopefully he's going to sign his contract now because there has been a contract extension being offered now. So hopefully we can get over the line.
I had heard, as I text you, there was a couple of offers on transfer deadline day for him, seemingly, and Hearts just went no. So I think that's brilliant. I mean, if he stays fit and signs another contract, he's going for a big fee. I think he'll go down south.
Yeah,
it's a great thing for our international team that he's, back fit and he's got to get himself back in that Scotland squad.
He does.
Because I'd rather him come on than, and I love Paul McGinn, but I'd rather see Suter come on at centre back than Paul McGinn. I know he came on for O'Donnell, but that is what that is. Sean, your lot won 3-0 against County, didn't you? Was it Ross County? Great. I think he's froze.
He has frozen, yeah.
But when I was I never kept an eye on the result for whatever reason. I think I was too busy watching the United
He's
game.
back.
I'm back.
You're back, Sean?
I'm back.
We're just going on to talk about Celtic. 3-0 you won against County, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say on the Edinburgh Derby as well. I think that it's quite funny because it's a far better game for you two as fans to watch than it was for the neutral. I don't know whether I did quite described it as the classic that you did, but fully as a fan, I can fully get behind that exciting 0-0 because you didn't know which way that could go, and I think that when I was looking at it in terms of it's a good goalkeeper either end, but I think it's definitely a game where you get more immersed into as a fan in that kind of a 0-0. Because actually the football on it wasn't bad, but it was a bit.
It was shite.
Typical Derby. It was a bit cagey, but in front of goal, I don't think that it was necessarily that either team maybe lacked quality. I think the goalkeepers cancelled out what was put before them, but yeah, Celtic were poor, very poor. We spoke about it. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it a few weeks ago after the Hearts Cup win, not really understanding how a game of such dominance could end 3-2, and that score sort of flattered Hearts. I mean, the 3-0 really flattered Celtic on Saturday. I mean, look. That one addition of Kyogo, we know how we can see what he's brought to the side.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, it's worth noting we didn't have Edouard up front as well, so you don't have that. That movement.
The threat.
Even if he's not doing much in front of goal, his movement's there. And I was genuinely quite excited to see what Ajeti could do in front of goal. It's the first time I'd have seen him live. I've obviously seen him through lockdown and stuff, but his movement. He's absolutely shocking.
He never used to be like that.
Yeah, but then he's obviously he's very low on confidence. You would imagine he scored 2 goals, which he hopes gives him a boost. Right place, right time, really on both. So you take it definitely. It confirmed 3 points. But yeah, I don't. You know, you don't want to be too harsh on someone who scored 2 goals. But unfortunately, what maybe if we offered a bit more in midfield on the day, then we would have seen it. You know, it might have been different. But we have been very spoilt this season with the movement of Kyogo, so it was such a huge loss. But yeah, it was brilliant. Carter Vickers, you know, he's a big lump of a
Centre back.
sit him in and just tell him don't move. He's gonna he's gonna wipe the floor. He's gonna clean everything up. And it was pleasing to see him drive forward with a ball and take a shot on. You know, it breaks the deadlock. But I think for me, the biggest thing that I took out of the game was Joe Hart's save.
You've said this a couple of times about him.
It's routine enough, but it's routine because he spotted what his defender isn't going to see. So he's watching that ball go over, and you can see as it's coming over fast stick. I had a great view of it that he's going to get a header off here, but he's already read that, so he's made it look he's made it look not as good a save as it actually is because he's had to come right across his goal. And then we go up the other end and we scored a second. You know, so
just a key
brilliant.
save at a key time, wasn't
it? Absolutely, and he didn't have much to do on the day. That was the one big thing he had to do on the day, and it's as good as a goal. It really is as good as a goal, and I think that we maybe would have, almost definitely would have conceded that goal. Even sort of 8 months ago. So yeah, so on the whole, it seems I'm not result wise, it's fantastic. It's we're not climbing the league as you'd want to see, but then the league is, it's been more competitive this season, and we've dropped 6 points. So you're not going to climb as quick as you want to when you've dropped points. But I think in terms of a performance on the day, it lacked a lot. But
I seen a tweet. I seen a tweet
on
Saturday that highlighted to me Turnbull and Rogic were just fucking couldn't produce anything on the day.
We were struggling to pass, we were struggling to trap a ball. I think we never really got that 5-minute spell of either of them being able to sit and spray and move the ball. And I think when they got the chance to move the ball, it failed. And then that's an area of frustration. It's not working. It's not quite going how they want it to go. But ultimately, for large parts, they were absolutely fucking poison. However, three moments, massive deflection on the first. I did feel for them there, but I think it's somewhat on target. And then, two other poaches really. But you come out of it with clean sheet, a well-deserved clean sheet as well. And you go forward now to Livingston, who are absolutely desperate for anything that they can get a hold of, and it's not it's not going to be an easy game at all, especially with Real Betis tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, and you're without McGregor and someone else is out.
Abada. Abada's out for religious reasons. I think Yom Kippur, so he's out. And right. I'm not sure about McGregor. I know he's out, but I'm not sure what the injuries. But interesting, there was no mention of Kyogo, so I don't know whether he's travelled and whether
Kyogo's out for like 3 weeks.
Well, the thing is, there's still the lack of confirmation as what has happened to my sweet prince is extremely worrying, and I want to know how long is this going to be out. Like, so when I see an injury update, I want everybody. I don't care who. I want him. I want to know how's his recovery going, because I am quite frankly fucking worried, really worried
without him. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, because obviously, it's difficult. It's gonna It didn't. I saw a clip of it. It didn't look like it was, it didn't look too nice. It didn't look too pleasant. But hopefully, he comes back and he does exactly what he was doing before. But I was quite hopeful that maybe the lack of update meant that it was a speedy recovery. But it would appear that it's not. So
I seen something. I don't know who it was through. I think it's one of the news outlets. He's out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
what I saw as well. Yeah.
I think it was a Scotsman or something that put it out. I was going to make a fucking point there. Fucking hell. I've been too busy. My points are just going like that. But I've literally been taking notes. You see the size of this fucking book, by the way. This would literally knock cunts out. Look at the fucking size of that.
Whoa. Okay.
I've been sitting fucking taking notes out of that today, so my bad. My head's fucking boomed.
No danger.
Fuck, what was my point? It's a fucking point about Celtic as well. Oh, Jesus. Edouard, that's what it was. How much of a kick in the balls was that? Him fucking coming on and scoring after 27 seconds.
Yeah, I think given the chances that the chance that he missed at Rangers as well, and the fact that you've been watching him just waiting for
To get to
just lacking that little bit, it's a bit like it is. But fuck me, debuts are debuts, aren't they? He might not score another 2 goals for them.
I think
sure he
in
will.
that,
I'm sure
I think
he
in
will.
that system with Palace,
But
he's going to thrive, man.
That's
sure,
why
I'm
that's
sure
why
he
I
will.
said as well. And that's why I said as well the other day because we thought Benteke looked like he was going back to his best towards the end of last season. He was going back to his best, and I think he deserved that new contract. But I think Palace did need another different dimension, and I think they needed something different than what Vieira wanted to how he's going to play. Especially you have Gallagher behind in the midfield. Zaha is not being the same because I know he's but when he plays, he spares on when he needs that certain moment. And I think as well, maybe him up front, him and Benteke would not work together as a
I think they would.
striker.
I think they
Would
would.
you?
I think because see the way, right? I've watched Edouard for the last couple of years, right? And I said something outrageous. I think it was 3 years ago, right? I think Edouard is a million times the player Moussa Dembele is as a footballer, right? And I said if you can get the money for him, he'll go for double what Dembele went for. I thought he was a £40 million player. I still think he is. But I
don't think he's far off the mark in today's football.
No. And also
But I
with
think-
Dembele, he's just really struggled at Leon, and he went to Atletico Madrid last season. He couldn't even get into the Simeone squad. So it just shows how you compare the two strikers that Edouard is looking a little bit more comfortable with that sort of style.
Yeah, and see my point from it, right, is I'm a fucking geek at football. You know that, Carl. And
Yeah.
I don't just watch the ball. But I go to the football, I watch the whole thing, and I'm like, got to pick up his runs, got just sort of.
Yeah.
But I just think Dembele and Benteke. See if Benteke can take all the knocks. See if you're playing like a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3, however you want to put it, right? I think Edouard can drop into a 10. Edouard's as good a playmaker as he is a striker for me.
Yeah.
And it was that goal. Sean will know what goal I'm talking about. The goal at Ibrox when Brown's just can flick that forward. I think he's won.
Yeah.
Did he draw 2-2 or win 3-2?
Won it 3-2, down to 10 men, and Brendan Rodgers brought him on. He brought on a striker, and that's the sort of manager that he is. But
he don't give a fuck.
they're the days that they're the decisions that you miss massively. But yeah, I think it'll work. I definitely think it'll work. I think that we'll probably be looking back at the end of the season of a montage of his 2 goals plus a lot more, as opposed to looking back at the end of the season saying, during when Edouard scored twice on his debut after 24 seconds and did fuck all else. Because he looks like it'll work, and he's obviously a great player, but he's a kick in the bollocks, because you look at it, you think well, you were waiting on. You could see that player that you saw on Saturday was the player that you'd seen for so long at Celtic, but you could see it wasn't quite there, and you were willing it out of him.
Yeah.
And whether that was attitude, whether it was himself, or whether it was just physically it wasn't there while he was there, whatever it was, it didn't happen, and he's gone now. And you wish him all the best. He had some very fond memories that he's left behind. And
what a great player, man! Honestly.
But I do think it'll work. I do think it'll work at Palace.
I said to my dad on Saturday before we went out for a meal, Messi, Ronaldo, and Neymar could have walked into Celtic last season, and they would have been shit.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more wrong last season than just players on a football field, and I think there was a lot more from the outside that made that an even tougher task.
Toxic.
And I mean, I think that the worst thing for Edouard from the weekend is that he probably had the the best debut of the weekend that was completely overshadowed by a massive debut from Ronaldo. But that's just football, isn't it? That's just football at the moment.
Listen, you're never going to overshadow Cristiano.
Nah,
no one gets to fucking do that, and he's even overshadowed Messi now. Has Messi scored for PSG yet?
No, I don't think so. He hasn't scored for PSG. No.
I'm in Gary Neville's corner from Monday Night Football. You know, if anyone's seen that fucking debate, oh my god,
he's only had
priceless, man.
Yeah, Messi's only had one game started. He's only started one game, so he's not even made. He's only
This one's for the Arsenal fans. Ronaldo scored 2. He just scored 1 all season. He scored the same amount of goals as Norwich and Arsenal.
It's been a mental start to the season. I don't know whether it's just because
fans being Batman.
Yeah. I don't know, like whether it was because fans, we weren't allowed into stadiums, or I don't know what it necessarily is. But the league seemed totally different. Like the SPL this year seems different than ever. Like,
it feels different.
Coming into what we are seriously, we're going to go into. We could potentially go into the second international break of the season with 4 teams chopping and changing places at the top.
In both leagues, I think.
It's unbelievable. Honestly, it really is. It really is mental.
It's probably the first time this has happened in both leagues for about 20 years. Because I remember in 2000, United, I know we ran away with the league that season, but see, at the start, it was going everywhere. The start of the 2000 season, Celtic and Rangers were going mental. Hibs had been promoted, and Hearts were doing unbelievably well as well. I think it's the best the 2 leagues have been for about 20 years.
And it comes around so fast as well. Like a months roll into months, and when does it stop being a bad start, or when does it stop being a good start? And then you start the conversations of underachieving and overachieving. Facts are, whatever you're doing on that week-to-week basis to keep you in that shit position or to keep you in that good position, that next game is fucking around the corner, knocking at the door. It's there. The next month it rolls in very quickly. Before we know it, we'll be at Christmas with a. I don't think we'll have much of a bigger understanding of the league, but we'll have a better understanding of, who stayed there.
I mean, I never thought by what's the date today? 15th of September, right? I'd have been Easter Road, and I'd have been in a sold out St Luke's in Glasgow, seen a gig, and fucking arm in arm with people, and I never thought. I didn't think it was coming back. A couple of months ago, I didn't think it was happening. As it stands right now, next week's going to be like maybe the best week of the year until the end of November. I'm going to have to move the podcast next week because I'm going to be in the state on Wednesday. Snot's final night. The Snot's final night at the bar. The Snot's final night is 3 nights at the Barras, and I've got the Monday and the Wednesday gigs. So I think we'll try and do this on Tuesday or something next week.
That would be more better because it's my mom's 60th on Monday, so I'm not doing nothing on that Monday.
Right.
But like Tuesday's fine with me because I'm going to have to do 2 recordings, one with Reagan and probably Douglas, and probably you. So I'm going to have to get my boys in top shape.
Well, next Tuesday, right, this is how my week works next week. Right, I work all weekend, right? Monday, I've got college in the Snots. Tuesday, I've got a kilt fitting at 12 for the wedding, being best man at my mate Gary's wedding. Wednesday, I've got the Snots. Thursday, I've got college, and then got to go down to Carlos because we're out in Manchester on Friday.
Right.
It's going to be, mate, fucking sick of doing COVID tests, man.
That's really for them.
Fuck off.
We've literally just brought Troy Deeney on. We've got a corner. We brought him on at the corner. I don't know who. I can't remember who was at the far post. Went fucking ballistic because the ball's put into the middle, not the far post. Chong's covered back up to Deeney. You know, he's muscling about, and they've played one ball through that's just completely cut us open like fucking hot knife through butter. It's good, really calm finish. This is my point about these games. It is an expectancy. We're looking at a very fucking good Fulham side, but strangely, we're still going to come out of this really disappointed because we've not actually played badly in any way, shape, or form tonight.
That kills me when that happens.
The 3 goals aren't, you know, they're not horrendous to concede. The penalty's not great to give away, but then it's a good penalty. And that pass there is completely, you hold your hands up, it's ripped us open.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper can't really do much then. But I would have expected us to come out of the game tonight and not have been this competitive against such a good side. So there's still positives to take. Really, we get to Peterborough on Saturday as well. So it's, you know, it's
they're on a shit run too.
You know, yeah, and like I say, usually they're the ones that you'd be fearing you go in and lose. But the confidence around the place at the moment that, you know, you can go to these places and win.
It's mental. Like, you look at that, right, and you look at sort of the last couple of seasons at Blues, you go as far back as, you know, Lee Clark, you know, fighting for survival on last days and, you know, jumping on the pitch because you stayed up. Now you're sitting going, we're fucking 7th. Well, whatever you'll end up by the end of the night, just say 7th. You're going, how the
yeah,
we're fucking 7th, man. Like,
yeah,
it's
you know,
kind of
under Rowett and that we've had good starts before as well.
yeah.
But you've always felt that we've just had a good start because you're looking at the team and you're thinking there's a hole there and there's a hole there. But now you're looking at this side, you're thinking, actually, do you know what? There's a lot of fucking square pegs here and square holes, and you're thinking this could. I wouldn't. I mean, any 15th would be a good season in my eyes. Anything 15th to 12th is a fantastic season. But there's a real stake of claim here that actually we're going to be so much more competitive that a top half finish and a rebuild, you don't know what you're going to do the following season. Like, you're already looking forward to next season if we can keep Bowyer and keep him doing what he's doing.
Chong's on a free for next year, by the way.
As I said before, I think that it's not going to be. We won't be the problem to keep him.
There'll be other teams wanting him.
It'll be, yeah. He's just gone through there. He's just missed a bit of a half chance. I think he should have squared it, to be fair. But superb from Deeney. But yeah, I don't think the problem will be United recalling. I think it'll be you know, an Everton, maybe not, an Everton or a big boy coming in and poaching him, especially when he's on that free as well.
He ain't got that ceiling, man. For me, he's never had that ceiling. I've watched him for the last couple of years, and I look and go, you're not a top 6 player. And to me, Everton should be in that top 6. Get fucking Tottenham out of there. Leicester are performing above their wits now.
That training ground they've just built, by the way. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Well, what's happened? Yeah, what's happened there is incredible.
Rodgers, definitely Rodgers had a massive say on some of the stuff that's went into that because he rebuilds everything. Like, you hear, if you ever hear like Kieran Tierney talking about like Brendan Rodgers' training, holy fuck, you'll like.
Yeah.
Sit and listen to Kieran Tierney all day for that. Like, you're just like, wow. I said to my dad, I was like, who would you fancy as Man United coach if Ollie eventually does get sacked? And you know what? I would have taken Brendan Rodgers. I mean, he's got all the makings of it, but he's managed to scouse cunts.
But I know that you may still think it's okay, but I don't think it that bothers. Would it bother some Man United fans?
Yeah, it bothers us all. No, it's just a no. It's like Neil Lennon going and managing Rangers.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's like Nielsen managing Hibs. It's just a no-no, unfortunately. I think the 3 names that were in a Daily Express thing was Conte, which you think that defensive football, fucking pulling their hair out with Mourinho. Conte'd send folk into that river behind the fucking stadium with defensive football. I can't. Who's the other manager? I can't remember who the other manager. And the other manager was Rodgers. And I was just like, no, and no.
However, However, you look at Benitez at Everton.
It's a different thing, man.
Nah, you've got to work on the rivalries that you've got, and I think the Everton Liverpool is a far bigger rivalry than he gets the credit for. I think the Liverpool Man United, whilst it overshadows it, it probably shouldn't, but it does. But I'm a stiffler for the whole local rivalry thing. But
the Liverpool Everton derby is called the friendly derby for a reason.
Yeah, but I don't think
Right.
but you look at how many but just go back a couple of weeks. But my point being that if you look at how many Everton fans did not want Benitez,
I think the minute it goes
it's
wrong,
gone awfully quiet.
he's fucked.
Of course he is.
It's kind of like
of course he is. But because it will always come back to it being, as soon as something goes wrong, it'll be that, which would be similar for Rodgers at Man United. But I think that what you have to look at now is that if the Man United job came up, I don't think that it'd be on Rodgers' radar either. If I'm honest, because of where Leicester are at the moment. Oh, we've just missed this fucking sitter. Because of where they are at the moment, I think if you were looking at,
it's not the right owners for him either.
No, and I think if you were looking at
fucking poison.
Say Rodgers was doing what he was doing with Burnley, and they were having a good season.
Oh fuck!
But you knew that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, then I think that Man United could pick and choose whether they wanted Rodgers or not. But I think that if anything was to happen and Ollie was to leave, I don't think that United have got the pick of Rodgers, if that makes sense. Regardless as to whether it'd be whether it'd be welcomed or not, because like with Everton, I mean, it's a weird one, but like I can see why they didn't welcome him with open arms. He gave he gave them some of the fucking worst memories ever and some of the best bragging rights to their neighbours that they could ever wish for. But when the football's good and the results are coming in, I think you've got to give him a chance, and you get behind him. I mean, he's making Demarai Gray look like fucking
Ronaldo.
He's making look like one of the best players in the fucking world at the moment.
For £1.8 million as well from Bayer Leverkusen. Bloody hell, yeah.
I know it's
did
there.
You say, Carl?
It was about 1.8 million, around about 1.8 million from Bayer Leverkusen.
No, mate, it's just $1 million. It's just $1 million. It's just $1 million.
Yeah. There you go. See, there you go.
I thought you said 8 million there. I was like,
no, sorry, man. I said 1.8 million. Go.
My bad. No, like
I mean, it's incredible what they're doing, but ultimately there has to be a time when Everton fans will, you let that go. But you know what'll happen as soon as it goes south. It'll be back to the protest that we've seen these couple of weeks. But
yeah, here the thing is, they're playing the most Everton football since Moyes left. For me, high octane, high pressure, none of this passing football shite.
I mean, the Demarai Gray's goal on Monday, the ball through and the finish as well. Obviously, I've seen him play at Blues at a very young age. He was, he's very well tipped, and it's no secret. Claudio Ranieri made it no secret as to why he signed him. He signed him off the back of a pre-season friendly. He had no knowledge of him before. And we played
Leicester, didn't he?
Yeah, we played Leicester in the pre-season. I think they beat us 3-2. But I think he scored both Blues goals. I can't remember now. But Ranieri said from that moment on, he was on his radar, and then he went and got his man. At the time, we probably sold him cheaper than we'd like, but strangely...
How much did you get for him?
I can't even remember. Something's telling me that it was in the region of 3.5 off the top of my head. I think it was that's the figure that's sort of bursting through my head.
I thought it was more than that.
But I was never a great fan of it. All Redmonds, to be quite honest, but maybe they just didn't fit at the time. They come through the academy with a lot of pressure on them, 2 local lads, and they were good in parts, but they've definitely gone on and been better. They've definitely gone on and been better than what we saw. But yeah, I'm happy with Demarai Gray. I think it's fucking brilliant. But yeah, the player that he's been made to look at the moment under Benitez, some managers and some players just...
It's the same with Townsend, isn't it? Same with Townsend.
Townsend, he looks fucking nice again as well.
I put something in like me, Carl, and Douglas, and a couple of lads have got a chat, and I was just like, Townsend only scores fucking bangers.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's better than his goal at City the other year.
Oh, yeah.
Because of just the way it was, because Burnley were proper pressuring them, and then obviously they got the equaliser. He'd done that. And then it was like 3-1 on the back. It's just so quick. Where do you think this is none of us have got fucking affiliations for Everton, so we can actually give some alright views on it. Where do you think they can finish this year?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually.
I think they've got to be looking at 7th, 8th.
I think between 7th and 9th at the moment for what I'm seeing,
Yeah.
between 7th and 9th. Because what other team can, Leicester going to be challenging the top 6. I think between 7th and 9th it's going to be good, suitable for Rafa and the Toffees coming this season.
The interesting game's going to be like when he plays Liverpool, and the Liverpool fans will start singing "There's only one Rafa Benitez."
Yeah.
I think I've seen it from sort of both sides. Just think the Everton fans weren't happy, but I also know a lot of Liverpool fans that I know as well. They weren't particularly happy that he'd crossed that divider. Even and I don't know whether that was a little bit of worry. I don't know whether that was from knowing what he could do. But I think that Everton could have a very good season. But for me, Everton are an insurance policy because they're never going to go down. And I wouldn't ever say they're going to win the league. I think, Leicester, for example, weren't that insurance policy because they had that chance of going down. But I can't see Everton ever dropping. And I don't ever think they're going to, they won't be in the top 3. But I think that if they ever broke that if they managed to break the Champions League, which I think this season, based on how competitive it is, I can't see that happening. With United, City, Chelsea,
Liverpool.
But Liverpool, of course, as well. I don't think with how competitive it's going to be up here, it's probably a shit time for them to peak, really. But then at the same time, it's the best time because these big teams are going to play. They're going to be looking over their shoulder. But I mean, there could be a surprise package to go and break the top 4. But
That's
again, you just got to take it. I mean, you definitely fancy them top 6 the way they're playing.
Top 6, top 8 sort of
You've
thing.
got to,
I think they'll get
you've got to fancy them top 6, and I think that's a fantastic season. I think if you have a good cup, I think the main thing for Everton is it's like Tottenham. They desperately need to win something.
Yeah.
It's been too long since they've won something. It's a big fucking
there
when they go to
6. Yeah.
Yeah, every year the song, there's another fucking candle on the banner from Liverpool. There's another year added onto the song, and they desperately need to go and win something. And I think that an FA Cup, even a League Cup,
he'll be on the side,
only the best sides win the League Cup. But yeah, I think that's definitely where they should be looking. But yeah, no, definitely. I just think that especially with the way they're going, because it's like you say. Really and truly, we know nobody expected Leicester to win the league, but fucking hell, like Everton aren't going to go and do it this season. But I think if they were to get some silverware there this season, it'd be an absolutely incredible season for them.
See, thing is, on like Rafa's coaching, right? I look at the Liverpool teams from that team he got to the final. His teams were better all the way throughout. Like if you look at his team with Torres, Gerrard, who's that left winger? Riera, Kite, Mascherano. You look at that team that won the Champions League, you're going, right, minus Gerrard and Carragher and Titi Hamann. Who the fuck's a good player there, really?
I mean, to be fair, did you not take Jermaine Pennant to a Champions League final as well?
They took Jermaine Pennant a year after 2006.
When they lost.
No, 2007. Yeah.
Jermaine Pennant played in the Champions League final. One of the most bang average players I think we've ever seen. He was on trial. He was on trial at Hibs, and Lennon still said no.
And then when he was when Bruce got him from Arsenal, remember we famously played on tag for
yeah.
I remember that quite well.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, no, he was good. Fucking hell. We've had chance after chance after chance in the last 10 minutes. Deeney's missed a header, good save. Djukovic has just missed a header, brilliant save. But yeah, I remember watching Penn. He was so highly tipped.
There was on you go.
Yeah, no, that's it, man. He was so highly tipped, and he just petered out for him. But you look at it, fucking Champions League runners-up medal.
I know.
He was in that Liverpool team that finished second as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
Was he at Liverpool? Was he at Liverpool when they finished second with Benitez? in
I
09?
think it was. Or he may went to Spain to go play for Real Zaragoza at that time. But I think it might be one of those seasons. It was either before or even when he was not, when he just went to La Liga. So
Yeah.
it was one of the two.
Who the fuck was that? He scored a peachy goal for Liverpool. He took it off his chest and just pinged it. I can't remember who it was against, but it was an absolute
I
beast
think
of
it
a
was
goal.
Chelsea. I think it was either was
Chelsea or Arsenal?
Yeah, it was more Chelsea because I think Petr Cech just come back from his head injury after his
Head
injury. So
Yeah.
You just remember him. I just remember him taking it down and just putting his foot through. I was just like, "Fuck off, Pennant, you horrible wee bastard." Like I don't like either fucking Liverpool or Chelsea, but just thought he's a knob. I always thought he was a knob.
They missed the penalty tonight, Liverpool have as well.
yeah, they were
What's their
2-1
score?
down. That's 2-2 now. It's 2-2 now. They were 2-1
Come on,
down.
Milan.
They were 2-1 down. So
I'll hold my laughs till later. Because the thing is, we put Milan out the Europa League last year, so if they get beat by Milan, it's just like,
Yeah.
because I'm a bitter wee fucker and didn't like Liverpool doing well at all. Yeah,
I mean,
to mention Liverpool,
PSG not currently winning at Club Brugge is filling me with all sorts of joy.
yeah.
I think that sometimes, you might not know too much about it, but like with Gaelic football, there's quite a famous curse that's supposedly on the Mayo GAA team, who coincidentally lost an All Ireland final at the weekend.
I saw that.
Is there a curse on PSG to never win the Champions League? I know it's group stage in its first game, but I mean, you look at that side, that should turn Club Brugge over in the fucking sleep.
Yeah, 100%. Inject that into my fucking veins.
I mean,
man.
there's still half an hour left, lot. But if that result goes fucking safe for them, I'll be fucking astounded.
I'll be fucking sitting here at Dane College in the morning, just going, "Oh, because one of the laddies in the class wears a PSG trackie." Just because they're smart. I think it's because they're smart as fuck. No, but the PSG stuff's quality.
Yeah, they are. It's Air Jordan.
It's so nice, man.
Yeah.
It's Jordans, but it's quality stuff. I'm just going to be like, something like, this is unrelated to sociology, but PSG are shite. Just right in the middle of somebody like commenting on someone, I'll just be like, they're shite.
Yeah,
Don't know if it supports PSG.
I think it would
Who knows?
It would do if we were that nice.
Yeah, but
Brandon.
I want one of the PSG. I want that PSG away top, and I fucking hate PSG. That PSG away top's so nice, and I need to get my hands on that Ajax top.
Yeah, but the problem is it's fucking sold out. They can't even get them anyway. I've been trying to get them as well too.
I've literally I'm not gonna be able to afford one for a wee while, but I'm literally on the list. You can keep an eye when it's back in stock. Oh man, I'd love to get it. It's so lovely.
They got told off by
UEFA with the free little, the free little, the free little
that's because fucking
it's in addition to the
racist
kit.
cunts.
Yeah, in addition to the kit, apparently, fucking mental. But
it's mental. It's not addition. They should know that's been it's now been a social act for over a decade. So this should not be. This should not be like, oh, we're banned it. This should not be recent. This has been going on for a decade that they've been associated. I think it was at a time when Cardiff City was at the old stadium with a friendly game. They got the song. They adopted the song.
Yeah.
So
it's just so smart.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Just
right. I think we should finish this off then.
Yeah, let's fucking finish this off. Because there's fucking massive games coming up this weekend as well.
Big games.
Yeah, good games as well.
Here, didn't even ask me who Man United or Hibs I've got. I've not got a clue.
Man United West Ham.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So well. That's got fucking David Moyes masterclass written all over it, innit?
Yeah, you could say something like that. Depends how West Ham does tomorrow night.
Oh, they're Europa League now, aren't they?
They play the way at Zagreb tomorrow. And Dinamo Zagreb are one of the places you can't even get a result.
You didn't want to go. You can't go there.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Because those fans are fucking manic.
Those
you
Russians
know,
are.
so,
I'm like
Croatians.
saying they're Croatians. Sorry, my bad. They're mental over there. Fucking.
They're mental.
You've got Newcastle on Friday.
On Friday
Bench.
night football, yeah.
Here, you know how we're talking about managers going the other way? Steve Bruce has done it in 2 cities.
Mhm.
Done it. He's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
managed Blues and managed Villa, and he's managed fucking Sunderland and Newcastle. He's a
Newcastle,
turncoat bastard.
That hurt quite
Yeah.
a lot, that one. Took Stephen Clements with him as well, which hurt even, just as much, because being so, that era of growing up, I was lucky enough that first sort of real football memories were, spoilt really, because it was Premier League Blues. So it was a couple
Yeah.
of seasons in the Championship, then it was Premier League Blues. So you sort of back end of sort of primary school, going into secondary school, where you're in the league, United, Villa in there, everybody, and obviously Clements would pick himself in a Blues shirt every week, in a
Yeah.
Blues side, sorry. So yeah, to see him go there as their number 2 as well was quite a pisser, to be fair.
That would have fucking boiled piss, wouldn't it?
Deeney's just nearly scored there for Blues. Fucking brilliant, to get on the end. Very nearly scored, but yeah, Hibs have got St Mirren this weekend.
Yeah, you do
Oh yeah,
actually.
they've got they're not called St Mirren. They're the Hibs feeder club.
Yeah.
Hibs feeder club, is that?
That is
So
also
That'll be the one.
Yeah.
That until next
All
week.
we do is take players for St Mirren. We're going to take another one in January, but we'll fucking get into that next week.
Then 3 years later, you sell it for a profit.
Yeah, like 6-7 million, and just
Yeah.
like that. Give them 10%. Don't pay for them. Give them Dre Wright and Scott Allen on loan. We'll take McGrath. He'll play a blinder for a couple of years, and we'll sell him to Villa for like 5 million.
I need your 10%. Yeah.
There's your 500 grand. Right, boys. Carl, Sean, thanks as always, boys. Absolute
welcome.
pleasure.
Very welcome.
And my bad for the fuck up tonight. My head's been fucking everywhere else tonight.
No danger, man.
But I'll get this all set up for next week. It'll probably be Tuesday night. My missus will probably be in the background because she's got to be here all week. So send abuse all you want. Right, guys, that's been football. Bloody hell. We'll catch you next week. Tuesday 7:30. Cheers, boys.